Proverbs 2, Phase 1. 1. My son, if you receive my words and treasure up my commandments with you, this teaches that wisdom requires active attention and intentional storage in the heart. 2. Making your ear attentive to wisdom, inclining your heart to understanding. This is saying that listening is not passive. It is a choice to focus and open the heart. Yes, if you call out for insight and raise your voice for understanding, this tells us that pursuit of wisdom requires effort, even earnest pleading. For if you seek it like silver and search for it like hidden treasures, this teaches that wisdom is valuable and often requires diligence to uncover. 5. Then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. This is saying that the ultimate aim of seeking wisdom is reverence for God and alignment with His truth. 6. For the Lord gives wisdom. From His mouth come knowledge and understanding. This teaches that all true insight originates from God, not human cleverness alone. 7. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity. This is saying that living rightly attracts protection and guidance from God. 8. Guarding the paths of justice and watching over the way of His faithful ones. This teaches that God actively preserves those who pursue moral alignment. 9. Then you will understand righteousness and justice and equity, every good path. This is saying that knowledge gained through God leads to discernment in action and decision-making. 10. When wisdom enters your heart and knowledge is pleasant to your soul. This tells us that internalization of truth transforms perception and desire. 11. Discretion will watch over you. Understanding will guard you. This is saying that practical prudence is an outcome of absorbed wisdom. 12. To deliver you from the way of evil, from those who speak perverse things. This teaches that discernment protects against temptation and destructive influence. 13. Who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness. This is saying that rejection of wisdom leads to moral deviation and harm. 14. Who rejoice in doing evil and delight in the perversity of the wicked. This teaches that malicious behavior is self-reinforcing and seductive without wisdom. 15. Whose paths are crooked and who are devious in their ways. This is saying that the wicked intentionally distort truth and justice. 16. Wisdom will deliver you from the adulterous woman, from the seductress who flatters with her words. This teaches that discernment protects against temptation in all forms, sexual, material, or moral. 17. Who forsakes the partner of her youth and forgets the covenant of her God. This is saying that destructive desire often involves betrayal of trust and covenant. 18. For her house leads down to death, and her paths to the departed. This teaches that indulgence in sin carries ultimate consequence. 19. None who go to her return, nor do they regain the paths of life. This is saying that choosing sin is irreversible without divine intervention. So you, my son, walk in the way of the good and keep to the paths of the righteous. This teaches that wisdom is not passive, it directs purposeful living. 21. For the upright will dwell in the land, and the blameless will remain in it. It's improper. This is saying that moral alignment produces stability and blessing in life. 22. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the treacherous will be uprooted from it. This teaches that moral corruption carries natural consequences. Proverbs 2, Phase 2. Historical and cultural anchorings. Proverbs 2 emphasizes the pursuit of wisdom as an active, diligent process in the context of ancient Israelite society. In a world without modern education systems, wisdom was transmitted through oral instruction, observation, and mentorship. The chapter reflects social realities where moral deviation, whether through violence, theft, seduction, or betrayal, threatened both individual and communal stability. The repeated contrasts between upright and wicked behavior highlight practical cause and effect. Following God-aligned instruction preserves life, while ignoring it invites destruction. Modern application. Today, Proverbs 2 remains strikingly relevant. Wisdom must still be actively sought, not assumed. In a culture saturated with influence, from social media to peer pressure, discernment is critical to avoid deception, destructive relationships, and moral compromise. The metaphors of the adulterous woman and the paths of the wicked extend beyond sexual sin to any enticement promising satisfaction while eroding integrity. Seeking wisdom intentionally through scripture, counsel, and reflection produces protection, stability, and ethical clarity in a world filled with distractions and false promises. Linguistic anchorings. The Hebrew text employs repeated conditional structures, if, then, emphasizing effort and response. Words like chokmah, wisdom, mispar, understanding, and yira, fear, reverence, underscore the relational and moral dimensions of knowledge. The chapter's poetic parallelism reinforces the contrast between outcomes of obedience versus rejection. The Veritas 365 translation preserves these nuances in clear modern English, rendering cause and effect, effort, and reward accessible without softening the original meaning. Theological anchorings. Theologically, Proverbs 2 asserts that God is both the source and guardian of wisdom. Human pursuit aligns with divine order, and reverence for God undergirds understanding and moral discernment. Protection is framed not as luck or randomness, but as God actively guiding and guarding those who seek wisdom. Conversely, the rejection of instruction invites inevitable consequences. Wisdom, in this chapter, is inseparable from reverence for God and practical moral application. Key themes. Active pursuit. Wisdom must be sought diligently. Discernment. Understanding guards against temptation and deceit. Moral consequences. Actions have tangible outcomes. God as source and shield. Divine guidance undergirds upright living. Temptation as broad metaphor. Sin is seductive in many forms, not only sexual. Closing thought. Proverbs 2 teaches that wisdom is an intentional path, requiring effort, attentiveness, and alignment with God. It warns that ignoring instruction leads to irreversible harm, while diligent pursuit brings insight, protection, and life. The chapter challenges readers to prioritize moral clarity, thoughtful decision-making, and reverence for God above fleeting enticements. Reflection prompts. Where are you actively seeking wisdom, and where are you passive? How do you discern the paths of the wicked in your modern environment? Are there temptations you have underestimated that could compromise integrity? How can reverence for God guide your decisions in daily life?